Welcome to @Cronkite News, your social sharing connection where you choose the news. Facebook likes and shares, tweets, retweets, and favorites. YouTube views and subscriptions. We're watching you watch us. From our digital home at cronkitenews.azpbs.org to your television, web browser, or mobile device. Let's get a refresh on the top Arizona news of the week.
One state lawmaker is working to create legislation to move, not destroy, Arizona's Confederate monuments. Kevin Gessner has a story on what monuments are being debated.
The Wesley Bolin Memorial Plaza in downtown Phoenix is home to hundreds of different memorials, from the Armenian Holocaust to the Vietnam War. But this memorial in particular is sparking a state controversy. It commemorates Arizona Confederate troops, and it's not the only one in the state that honors the Confederacy. In fact, Arizona has 6 Confederate monuments, 2 in the Phoenix area. State Representative Reginald Boulding is an advocate for removing these monuments. He says when you're looking at the context of the Confederacy, it's important to remember what they stood for and what these monuments are really honoring.
The members of the Confederacy, they stood by this belief that individuals, African Americans, should not be seen as humans. They believed that so much that they were able to put it into their own constitution, and many were willing to die.
But Bill Long of the Sons of Confederate Veterans believes when you remove one monument, it's fair game to remove anything else that honors the Americans that served their country.
We were called to serve, which I was, and I did. So I would be highly upset if they wanted to say, okay, now we're going to take the Vietnam monuments down and commemorate the people that died over there and served in that position.
I totally agree that the monuments are preserving history. The question becomes, where do we place these monuments? I've always advocated that these monuments should go to a museum. They should go to private collectors.
We would be more than happy to take the monuments and put them on private ground.
Boulding plans to request a meeting with the Legislative Governmental Mall Commission and allow the public to have input. But he says having Governor Doug Ducey's backing would streamline the process.
The governor also has the ability, according to another board, to actually remove the Jefferson Davis Memorial Monument that's on U.S. Highway 60 that's honoring, that was put there to honor the Confederacy. So right now, the governor really has been absent in large part.
But the state's latest memorial to the Confederacy was built just 7 years ago in 2010 in the Historical Soldiers Memorial Cemetery in Sierra Vista. It's right next to one honoring Union soldiers, but built a year earlier. In Phoenix, Kevin Gessner, Cronkite News.
There will be a meeting next Monday to determine if the US 60 will continue to be honored as the Jefferson Davis Highway. College dormitories have come a long way in recent years, with universities spending millions of dollars to integrate them with the latest technologies. ASU's brand new engineering dorm, Tucker House, is no exception. Tim Johns shows us why even big tech companies are providing their latest gadgets to students who live there.
Carter Kwan is an engineering student who just started his junior year at ASU. Kwan is also one of the first residents to live in Tucker House, one of America's most technologically advanced dorms.
This new building is amazing. There's nothing quite like it in the country.
Tucker House, which just opened last month, features things such as classroom workspaces, 3D printers, and Bluetooth-enabled washer and dryers. The high-tech dorm has garnered so much attention that even the tech giants of the corporate world have begun to take notice. Amazon has donated 1,600 of their Echo Dots for use by the residents of Tucker House, and there's a reason why. James Colafello, an associate dean at the Fulton Schools of Engineering, says it's because engineering graduates are in such high demand and that companies are keen to get in front of them as potential employers.
Companies understand that if they want to be able to hire our students, they can't wait until they're seniors. And so we have companies getting involved with the students as early as a freshman year, trying to get their brand out there.
Alexa.
And it seems to be working. Kwan, along with his friend and classmate Stephen Hall, have already begun developing new interfaces for their Echo Dots and cite Amazon as a potential dream employer.
Oh, I'd love to work at Amazon, so Amazon, if you're watching.
But in the meantime, Tucker House, with all its gadgets, will continue to be Kwan's home. In Tempe, Tim Johns, Cronkite News.
Tucker House is home to nearly 1,600 students and is located on University Drive on ASU's Tempe campus.
Now, here's an @Cronkite News pick of the week, a favorite from the Cronkite News staff.
A World War II veteran who survived the attack on the USS Indianapolis was honored in Florence. As Emily Richardson reports, a federal building now bears his name.
Today we gather to recognize Mr. Harpo Salaya and his heroism by dedicating the Florence Post Office to him.
On Saturday, people gathered outside of the Florence U.S. Post Office to witness the building's dedication to Harpo Salaya. Salaya joined the Navy when he was a teenager because flyers made it seem fun.
At that time in Tucson, you know, they had pictures outside join the Navy and see the world, and they had girls where they would show a girl in every port and stuff like that, which I never got to see anyways.
When he was 17, he was on board the USS Indianapolis when it was torpedoed by a Japanese submarine. He was one of the 317 survivors.
A lot of the sailors were burning up and stuff like that, so I just went to the back.
Salaya and the other survivors were in the water for 4.5 days before they were rescued. When Salaya returned to the U.S., he re-enrolled in school and played on the Florence High School's basketball team.
I think it helped me a lot to come back to school because in those days they called it that it was PSD or whatever you had, but it helped me out quite a bit.
Congressman Paul Gosar had to get a bill passed by Congress to name the Florence Post Office after him.
Harpo Salaya is a true hero, beloved by his hometown right here in Florence.
That it was an honor for us to be able to honor Mr. Salaya in this way.
Salaya is happy to be recognized by his hometown and even happier that his family made the event.
It's something that I'll probably take with me for the rest of my life.
In Florence, Emily Richardson, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News tracks your likes, tweets, and shares from all our social sites to bring you this special @Cronkite News, our weekly refresh. Join the conversation so you choose the news. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org for top Arizona stories anytime.